Module 2, Lesson 17, we're going to look at divisibility tests for 3 and 9. And in our opening exercise, we're going to look at this list of 10 numbers and put them in the appropriate circles for the numbers that they are divisible by. We'll review the rules for this opening exercise, and then you can double check your answers based on those rules. The divisibility rule for 2 is that the number is even, or that its last digit is a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. And then the divisibility rule for 4, which you might not be as familiar with, is if its last 2 digits are divisible by 4. Divisibility rule for 5, and we know that one is if it ends in 5 or 0. That's an easy one. The divisibility rule for 8 is if its last 3 digits are divisible by 8. And finally, maybe the easiest of all, divisibility by 10 is it ends in 0. Now we're going to add on to those rules the divisibility rule for 3 and for 9. Divisibility rule for 3 is if the sum of its digits is divisible by 3, then the whole number is divisible by 3. We'll explore that in the next examples. And the divisibility rule for 9 is if the sum of its digits is divisible by 9. Finally, we'll add one for 6. And a number is divisible by 6 if it is divisible by both 2 and by 3. So if it is even and the sum of its digit is divisible by 3, it is divisible by 6. In example 1, we're going to take a look at whether 378 is divisible by 3 and or 9. And we'll also look at 6 while we're at it. The 3 digits in the number 378 are 3, 7, and 8. The sum of those 3 digits, when we add them up, 3 plus 7 is 10, plus 8 more is 18. So the sum of its digits is 18. Is 18 divisible by 9? Yes, because 9 times 2 equals 18. So that means that 378 is divisible by 9. We know that because the rule says a number is divisible by 9 if the sum of its digits is divisible by 9. Is 378 divisible by 3? Yes, because 18 is divisible by 3. Asking our question that is not on the page, is 378 divisible by 6? Remember the rule for 6? It is divisible by both 2 and 3. So 378 is divisible by 2. It's an even number. And it is divisible by 3. We just determined that. So 378 is also divisible by 6. Example 2. Is 3,822 divisible by 3 or 9? Why or why not? So the first thing we need to do is to add the sum of its digits. 3 plus 8 plus 2 plus 2. 3 plus 8 is 11, plus 2 is 13, plus 2 is 15. Now 15 is divisible by 3, but it's not divisible by 9. So we can determine that 3,822 is divisible by 3 only, not divisible by 9. One final question not printed. Is 3,822 divisible by 6? Yes, it would be divisible by 6 because 3,822 is even, which means it's divisible by 2, and we already determined that it's divisible by 3. As you continue on through the exercises, check each number using the rules that are printed earlier in our lesson, which hopefully you have written down in your lessons as well, and then complete the problem set.